Picture your desk on a busy afternoon. You have a physical inbox, a tray, and you're working through it steadily. A colleague appears and drops a stack of folders on it. Fine, you keep working. 5 minutes later, they're back with another stack, still manageable. Then another. The pile is now taller than your monitor. Before you've opened the fourth folder, the fifth stack arrives, and the whole thing tips, pages everywhere. You spend the next 10 minutes collecting and reordering them. One folder has vanished completely. Your colleague, who was trying to be efficient, had no idea you were at capacity. They couldn't see your inbox from their desk. They sent at their speed, not yours. There's an obvious fix. Put a number on your inbox, a small display that shows how many folders it can still take. Your colleague checks the number before each delivery. They bring exactly as many folders as you have room for, no more. When you've worked through a batch and freed up space, the number goes up and the deliveries increase. When the tray is nearly full, the number drops towards 0 and the deliveries slow to match. Nothing tips over, nothing gets lost. Your colleague isn't held back unnecessarily. They're sending at the maximum rate you can actually absorb. That number on the inbox is the window. And this is almost exactly how TCP flow control works. Every TCP receiver has a buffer, a block of memory where incoming data waits while the application above it reads and processes it. The buffer has a fixed size. It does not expand on demand. At any moment, the receiver knows exactly how much of that space remains available. And the mechanism that communicates this to the sender is already running. It's built into traffic that was flowing anyway. TCP senders receive acknowledgments. Every chunk of data that arrives gets confirmed. That's how TCP works. What makes flow control elegant is that those acknowledgments carry a second piece of information alongside the confirmation. A number, measured in bytes, called the receive window. That number tells the sender precisely how much buffer space the receiver has available right now. Not an estimate, not a flag. The actual remaining capacity reported with every single ACK. Here is what that means in one sentence. The sender is never allowed to have more data in flight, sent but not yet acknowledged, than the receiver's last advertised window. That is the rule the window imposes. Everything else follows from it. The sender keeps a running count of its in-flight data. Every time it sends a segment, the count goes up. Every time an acknowledgement comes back, the count goes down. And the rule is that the count must never exceed the window ceiling the receiver has set. When the in-flight total approaches that ceiling, the sender stops and waits. Not because the network is congested, not because anything has gone wrong, because the receiver's buffer has a limit and the sender has been told what it is. As the receiving application works through the buffer and creates space, the next acknowledgement carries a larger window number. The ceiling rises, the sender sees it, calculates how much additional data it's now permitted to dispatch, and sends it. The cycle continues. Data flows, ACKs return, the window updates, the sender recalibrates. What makes this more than a one-time negotiation is that the window is not fixed at connection setup and left alone. It changes continuously with every acknowledgement. If the receiving application slows down, a spike in CPU load, a burst of competing work, anything that reduces how fast it drains the buffer, incoming data stacks up faster, the buffer fills. The next ACK carries a smaller window. The sender, reading that smaller number, backs off. No alarm is raised, no separate control message is sent. The signal is already there, embedded in traffic that was always going to flow. The reverse works identically. The application catches up, drains the buffer, and the next ACK carries a larger window. The sender accelerates. The whole system is continuously self-calibrating, tightening when the receiver is under pressure, loosening when it clears. One nuance that changes how you see the sender's behavior: the window size is not a rate. It is not an instruction to send a certain number of bytes per second. It is a limit on how much data can be outstanding at once, in transit across the network, or sitting in the receiver's buffer, not yet acknowledged. The sender tracks a balance, not a speed. Keep the outstanding balance below the ceiling, and you're within the window. Exceed it, and you've sent more than the receiver said it could handle. This also means the window has an indirect relationship with throughput. A large window permits more data to be in flight at any moment, which, across a connection with real delay, allows more data to arrive per second. A small window caps the in-flight total low, which limits how fast data flows through. Rate is not commanded directly. It emerges from the window size and the time acknowledgements take to return. What the window gives you is a conversation running in the background of every connection, invisible to any application using the network, but continuous beneath it. The receiver describes its state, the sender adjusts. The receiver's state changes, the sender adjusts again. Two machines, connected across a network neither of them controls, find a pace they can both sustain, not by agreeing on it up front, and not by one side guessing, by the receiver reporting constantly what it can take, and the sender just as constantly staying within it.